What's going on YouTube? So there has been a lot of gloom and doom about EVs recently, but a big part of the problem is that all of the appealing ones are not affordable.
However, Chevy is hoping to change that with this all-new 2024 Chevy Equinox EV, which is not only promising great range, a stylish package, but a really affordable price tag starting at $27,500 after the tax credit.
So is this the affordable EV that's ready for mainstream? Well, let's go ahead and find out. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here with the exterior design. Now, obviously, as soon as you walk up to this model, you're going to notice it has a very sleek look. This is going to be a fully dedicated model. It actually has no relation to the gas Equinox model, and you can tell that because that model has a much boxier appearance for sure. So down here in the front, we are going to have basically two different trim groups on this model. You have LT trims, which are going to go for a more luxury appearance, and you're going to have RS trims, which go for the sportier appearance. This is an RS trim, so up in the front we've got the full black fascia, blends in very nicely with the black paint we have on this model to give it a super stealthy and sporty look. I also want to talk about the lighting a little bit as well. So you'll notice we do have this big light bar that runs across the front here. That's going to be on all the models. If you get some of the trim levels, you will also get animations that run through here, as well as an illuminated bow tie up in the very front. Now, as far as the lighting itself, of course, down here you're going to have your full LED headlight. The top part is going to be your turn signal and daytime running light. Now, as we walk around to the rear design, you'll continue to see that very sleek look.
Yeah, I really like the way this looks here in person, especially now out in the daylight. Now, as far as some of the design elements, we do have that sleek glass treatment, but we still are keeping a rear wiper, which I like. And let's check out our taillights. So our taillights are going to have a clear lens here on the 2RS trim level, and Drew's seeing if all the elements are LED. So we have an LED brake light portion, LED reverse light, and LED turn signal indicator. On some of the models, you can also get that dynamic ability as well as the animation. That's not on this particular tester today. Then as we drop down to the lower fascia, all of this is going to be a nice body color. I like that it's not a rugged matte black plastic. The tow rating is 1,500 pounds for this Equinox EV.
Now, despite the affordable price tag, I am very impressed to see that we have 21-inch alloy wheels. That is a very big size for this segment of vehicle, and these wheels look absolutely amazing. You don't have any weird designs, you don't have aero covers or anything like that, which is also impressive considering the range of this vehicle. And overall, this just looks super nice and I think really sets off the overall design of this Equinox EV. Now, of course, this side is also going to have your charge door. You have your Equinox branding down here on the lower part of the door trim. And as far as our mirrors, every Equinox EV will come with heating and blind spot monitoring.
Now, here at the side of the Equinox EV, you're probably curious as to how long this vehicle is. It's 190.5 inches in overall length, which places it as around 7 inches longer than the gasoline Equinox and a couple inches shorter than the Blazer EV for reference. Now, in terms of design, there's a couple things to talk about. As you can see on this model, we have the fully blacked out version, but you can get a black roof if you choose another color of the RS trim level, and you can also get a white roof option if you prefer that more contrasty look. Now, when it comes to your safety systems, I'm also very happy to tell you that Chevy is including all 4 active safety features as standard equipment on all Equinox EVs. Now, the one thing that's really important and worth noting is that you can get Super Cruise on this model as well. We actually have that optioned on today's tester, and that allows for advanced hands-free driving. So very cool system to be offered. It's actually not going to be offered on the gasoline version of the Equinox. But guys, let's go ahead and check out that really cool cabin. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, now let's go ahead and move on to the interior. First, we'll take a quick look at our key fob. This is just your typical Chevy key fob. You do have standard smart entry as well as remote start located right there on the fob itself. Now as we walk up to the Equinox EV, you'll notice that the door handles actually will pop out as we walk up to the vehicle. This is an interesting element because it does have the flush mount door handles. That's one of the things that helps you with that nice range figure. Now, checking out the interior. We have a very nice and high-tech space with a nice minimalist design as well. And let's start by talking about the seats themselves. So standard on the EV Equinox is going to be the Evo Tex. This is a synthetic leather. Definitely like the look of this. As you can see here with the RS, we have a mostly black seat, but we also have red accents in the seating and in other areas of the cabin. Perforation down the center section, nice piping and stitching details throughout. They're very comfortable as well. Down below, we have 12 ways of power adjustment. We even have the 4-way lumbar support. And let's go ahead and climb inside. Now we're going a little bit out of order because this Equinox EV actually does not have a traditional push-button start. When you get inside the vehicle or when you put your foot on the brake, that will fire up the vehicle. Fire up. Let's talk about the overall cabin materials though. So over here in our door trim, we do have a nice leatherette material that runs through here. It's going to be soft touch plastic along the upper part. And again, the RS trim is going to get some red accents. As we move to the upper dash, surprisingly, even though this is a very affordable vehicle, still a nice soft touch material through there. We have nice looking round vents with red accents. And down through the lower panels, these are actually going to be padded as well. Everything fits together very solidly. And since everything's fired up, we don't have to wait to get into the individual features. Let's start with our gauge cluster. So this is an 11-inch full digital cluster. You have a lot of different designs you can choose from, including that full screen Google Maps, which is a very nice feature to see on this model. As you can see, you've got all these different designs that you can pick between. As we pull back to the steering wheel, since we have the RS trim level, we have a very nice looking flat bottom steering wheel with RS branding. We do have the leather wrapping and stitching details. And the wheel itself is going to be manual, tilt and telescoping. We also have steering wheel heating. But let's go ahead and check out interior storage. So this actually opens to the side, and inside you'll notice we've got a little shelf. If I take that out of the way, you're going to see that we have a deeper area here. This is a pretty nice storage cubby. It's a little narrow, but it is very deep. Now in front of that, you have a slit right there. You have a huge front console area. There is an available wireless phone charging pad. You don't get it on this 2RS trim level though. And then we have the giant floating console. So you can stick just about anything you can imagine down here in this area, and it will be held in place since you have these nice walls on the outside edges. Now, how is that possible? Well, it's possible because we have an electronic shifter. So operation is the same as you've seen in other GM products. Just pull down forward drive, go up for reverse. When you go into reverse, you're going to find a very nice standard feature. This is a 360-degree camera system. As you can see, you do have active trajectory. You can also change between several different views. And then just press the end right there to go into park. Now, let's turn our attention to our climate control system. So one of the things that Chevy talked a lot about, and we have certainly experienced here with the Equinox EV, is that they didn't make it an unusual cabin that's going to be hard to get used to just for the sake of it. What they have done is given you things such as physical controls so you can very easily adjust your climate controls. Even though you do have some of the controls up there in the screen, you have them redundantly down here on the bottom as well. Certainly like that feature. Now, as far as what it is a single zone automatic climate setup on your lower trims, and it is a dual zone automatic setup on your upper trims. Furthermore, we do have standard heated seats, but if you get higher end trim levels, you'll add seat ventilation as well. Now, before we get into the main display, I do want to talk about this element right here, our volume knob, which is integrated into the display itself. So all Equinox EVs will come with a 6-speaker sound system. There's no offering of a branded sound system, but let's go ahead and give it a sample. certainly not bad at all. I don't think anybody shopping in this price point is really going to expect more than that. All right. Now, let's talk about the display. So, very impressive standard feature because this is a 17.7-inch display, and it is across the entire lineup, even that base entry-level trim level. As you can see, it is very large, it doesn't have very big bezels, and importantly, the performance is also excellent. So this is going to be an Android Automotive base system, so what you have on board are things like your Google Assistant, you have built-in Google Maps, which is fantastic. I also want to point out you do have ambient light controls and Alexa built in as well. Now, here's the important thing to note though, because this is electric, General Motors does not include wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. They believe that their built-in system is better for their EVs, so only their EVs, but it is not going to have those systems, so keep that in mind. Now up top we have a auto-dimming mirror. This is a standard feature. And then on today's example, you'll notice we do not have a sunroof, but it is an available option to get a panoramic sunroof for $1,500.
And let's dive into the rear seat area of this Equinox EV. Is it going to be as practical as its gas sibling? Well, that's a good question, and I'm happy to tell you yes. Here in the rear seat area, we're going to have quite a lot of space. As a matter of fact, we're going to have about 38 inches of legroom, 38.5 inches of headroom, which is a very good amount for this segment of vehicle. It's only going to be a tiny bit smaller than something like a Blazer EV. Now, of course, it's a Car Confections review after all, so one of the things we do is we get a knee measure. I'm 5'9" for reference. The seat is adjusted to Drew, who is 5'8", and we're sitting at a very good 10 inches of additional knee room. Very impressed with that, and also my feet can slide up underneath the seat, so I'm very impressed with just the overall comfort you're going to get in this Equinox EV. When it comes to the seat itself, it does not recline at all, so do be aware of that. Now, as far as features are concerned here in the center, I'm happy to see that we're going to have climate vents. Additionally, we have 2 charging USB ports. They're Type-C variety, and then a little storage cubby down below. On higher-end versions, you can also get heated rear seats as an available option. On this Equinox EV, we have 2 cup holders inside, and the door trim is going to be made of hard-touch materials as opposed to the front, but overall, the materials are pretty good, and we do have quite a lot of bottle storage down in the very bottom. Now, walking up to the tailgate area, you'll be happy to know that you're going to have a standard hands-free power tailgate on all Equinox EVs. It is the new Auto Sense ability, so when you walk up to the vehicle, it senses your presence and beeps a couple times, and then we'll open it up. You can also open it manually by just pushing that button there. Now, once this space opens up, you might be curious as to how much space you're going to get with this Equinox EV. It's a lot smaller than the gas option, and I'm happy to once again tell you it's not really much smaller. About 26 cubic feet behind the second row of seats. And as we fold the seats down, we're going to have a maximum of around 57 cubic feet. That's a pretty good figure for this segment. It's not going to be as large as something like a Honda CR-V. However, it's pretty much on par with like the gas Equinox. Now, the seats do fold 60-40 split folding, so I'm going to go ahead and fold those seats down. It's decently easy for someone of my size, and let's go ahead and get your cargo measurements. And let's see the overall cargo length. About 76 inches of length behind the front row of seats, about 38 inches of length behind the second row. Let's see how wide it is. 41 inches wide, and then as far as the overall cargo height, that's only about 26 inches. So do be aware it's going to be on the shorter side for an SUV, but overall cargo length and width figures are going to be pretty competitive. Down underneath the floor, we do have a little additional storage cubby. No spare tire on this model, and there's also not going to be a frunk, so this is going to be your only storage in the Equinox EV.
All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about what you're going to find under the hood. Now, this time you actually are going to see something under the hood for this electric vehicle because we don't have a frunk. Instead, what you see is basically your front electric motor and the electric components that go along with it. Now, let's talk a little bit about overall power. So you have front-wheel drive model, which is going to be making 213 horsepower. If you choose a dual motor all-wheel drive model, that's going to upgrade you to 288 horsepower instead.
Now, both your front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive variants are paired to an 84 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack. And as far as range, that means that your front-wheel drive option is going to get better range at 319 miles of EPA estimated range. And then your all-wheel drive variant comes in at 285 miles. Now, as far as your charging, that's going to be capable of charging at speeds of up to 150 kilowatts, which will give you 77 miles of range in as little as 10 minutes.
Now, those are very compelling numbers, especially with the range. But we also have some more numbers and performance things to share with you guys coming soon. So, unfortunately, this is going to be under a driving impressions embargo for a short period of time. You can see the date of when we're able to share with you guys our driving impressions of this vehicle. We certainly have a lot to talk about when it comes to that, but for now, you're just going to have to be a little bit patient and wait. We wanted to, make sure we showed you guys all the features, see it out in the daylight and everything like that as soon as possible. So just be patient and we'll get you those driving impressions very soon.
Price time. So I'm very happy to tell you the pricing for this model. So we're sitting at a base price of $34,995 for the 1LT trim level. Now that's going to be available a little later this year. It's not quite available yet. But yes, that means when you factor in the $7,500 tax credit, this vehicle starts at a price of around $27,495. Very impressive price point. Now, if you're looking for a model like what we have today, this is the 2RS front drive. That starts at $43,400. So when you factor in the tax credit, we're sitting at around $35,900 as a starting point. And then when you add in Super Cruise, it does inflate a little bit more. But I'm happy to tell you that this model is under $40,000 if you factor in that tax credit. And if you're looking to buy a Chevy Equinox EV or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price on your new vehicle. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, link is provided in our video description, and there's also a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that's going to be where we leave off on this in-depth review of the all-new 2024 Chevy Equinox EV. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you help get us invited to events like this where we can come out and sample some of the latest cars on the market. So please play that pivotal role and subscribe down below. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.